that literally survives off of secrecy. We're here today to show you the truth and bring you that live outside of a slaughterhouse here in the UK. Our first disclaimer is that we're not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. Our second form of disclaimer is that we're not here to clash with non-vegans, point fingers, and say you're a bad person for not being vegan. We're coming here to come alongside you, show you the lies that the industry don't want you to see. They take away the transparency, they don't replace it with truth, they replace the truth with lies. We're here today to expose that and to show the world exactly what happens as you come into this live stream. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. We've got some amazing activists already here. Morning, everyone.
Hi.
Morning, everyone. Everyone already here defending the animals, showing the world what's going on. We're shining a light on this industry because this industry relies on darkness to survive. Well, today we put a light into that darkness and we show you, the consumers and the public, the animals, so you can make an educated decision on whether you want to continue to support this violence of the most innocent animals here, or whether you want to go vegan and remove your personal contributions to exploitation. You're looking right now inside of a slaughterhouse live. This is known as the layerage area. This is where the animals will be coming here today to be dropped off. This is a waiting room for their execution. They wait there to be stabbed to death. Just take that in for a minute. That's where they'll be waiting to be stabbed to death. That's the reality that these innocent animals will face, because when you go to the supermarket, you buy blocks of cheese and you buy chocolate bars. Does that equate in your brain? Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Now, we're not here today to clash with non-vegans. We're here to come alongside you, show you the realities and the truths. The industry here is a business. This doesn't stop civilization collapse. This is nothing more than a business that has marketed its quote-unquote products to you, the consumer, to keep you paying for these products without ever critically thinking about the violence that's attached to them. Let me explain what I mean by that after you put 1 for vegan, 2 for non-vegan, 3 for anti-vegan, and you've double-tapped the live stream. The dairy industry forces pregnancies on mothers. They carry their babies for 9 months. Once they give birth, their babies are taken away. That's kidnap. After that, if they're male, they're killed within 2 to 6 weeks. After that, if they're females, they can be put in isolation hutches. When they're sexually mature enough, they have pregnancy forced on them and they join the back of a dairy line. This is the violence that you never knew you supported when you go and buy cow's milk, when you go and buy cow's cheese, when you go and buy chocolate bars made from her breast milk. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. We're live outside of a slaughterhouse. We've got loads of activists here with us today, and we're here today to lift the lid on the secrecy that the industry have tried so hard to keep the consumer in believing. Secrets like 6-month-old piglets being put inside gas chambers for bacon sandwiches. 18-month-old hens who are forced into the egg industry being put inside gas chambers because they lay eggs. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and subscribe.
Someone's saying on here, Icon Floyd, biggest steroid vegan. What would you say to that?
Saying someone thinks I'm on steroids.
Yeah.
If you think I'm on steroids, that's a huge compliment. It just shows how big you can get when you just eat plants. You don't need to make your gains on anyone else's losses. Your body needs nutrients, and when you can select nutrients that didn't scream for their life inside of a slaughterhouse, it's the ethical and moral decision to do, and this is why we're here today. We're here to just bring that message. Subscribe, 1 if you're vegan, subscribe 2 if you're not vegan, but you are a kind person. And number 2 is we appreciate you being here. We are really grateful for you spending the time being here. Please put your questions in this live stream chat. We will get around to answering them. Subscribe at 3 in the chat if being kind to animals triggers you. Let us know if it upsets you when people say, let's be kind to chickens, cows, sheep, and pigs. Double tap the live stream. Please go into the link in the description. Go into the Linktree link and watch Dominion. Oh, the smell here. Yeah, you got questions?
I don't recognise that security person.
Who is the security here? Is this a new security? I don't know.
Don't recognise him.
No, I don't know.
Just a shout
There's just one. Puppet One's not there today. This gate behind me, by the way, this gate is usually on a push button system. They push a button and it electronically opens and closes. But when activists come here with the cameras, they turn that system off, and this guy here has got to push and pull the gate manually. Ask yourself why. I'll tell you why. The reason being is because they don't want you, the public, to see animals in trailers being taken into slaughterhouses. Because the minute anyone with a brain, compassion and a heart sees the eyes of animals animals going inside a slaughterhouse, they go vegan. And then what happens to the industry? They lose profit. This industry is not civilization collapse preventative. This is a business. They've marketed their business to you, the consumer, to make you spend as much money as you possibly can. Subscribe one if you're vegan, subscribe two if you're not vegan but you are open-minded. Thank you for being here. Subscribe free if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream. Let's get the likes over 50 as fast as possible. You got more questions?
Swede Johannesson, sorry if I said that wrong, but why does the food industry insist on making vegan food look like meat?
Because no one goes vegan because they stop liking the taste of meat. No one goes vegan because all of a sudden they go, I don't like bacon sandwiches, I don't like roast chicken, I don't like steaks. The reason why people go vegan is because they realize that if you buy them products that are made of animal exploitation, you are directly funding industries that exploit animals. And when good people don't want to be responsible for hurting and exploiting animals, they go vegan, but you can still enjoy all the same taste pleasures. This is what we mean when nothing changes for you. Nothing changes for you whatsoever, but the animals are spared. Subscribe, put one in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put two in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put three in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Number two, thank you for being here. Double tap the live stream. Let's get 50 likes before the next truck of animals comes past us and goes inside that gate there to go into the layery to be killed. Double tap this live stream. Please go into the link in the description and copy and paste it into your browser if the link isn't active. It will take you to our link tree where you could go and watch Dominion and Pignorant, two documentaries that will show you the entire truth of what the industry is trying to hide. Today, think of us like what Mel says, we are your friends, bringing you information that the industry pay billions of pounds to keep from you. You're gonna wanna hear this.
So we've got so many comments coming in right now.
Let's
but
go.
Someone's just said, UL8, I agree the meat industry needs re-evaluating, but don't think eating meat is bad.
Why don't you think eating meat is bad? Because you're looking at it from the oppressor's perspective forward, but look at it from the victim's perspective backwards. Look at it from the animal's perspective. Is it bad for the individual to be forcefully impregnated, have babies taken away from them, to be forced into existence, given a number, not a name, given chains, shackles, commodified, literally turned into a product, and then executed and murdered so somebody can eat your secretions or your body? From the victim's perspective, eating meat is absolutely bad. It's a huge atrocity. It's the biggest injustice the world has ever faced. Veganism, by the way, isn't just a diet. Veganism is an ethical position against the exploitation and use of animals, full stop. No zoos, no aquariums, no horse racing, no greyhound racing, don't bet on animals, don't test on animals, don't wear animals, don't eat animals. It's a simple philosophy. You just extend your moral and ethical compassion to all sentient beings. Subscribe and put one in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put two in the chat if you're not vegan, be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put three in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, subscribe, hit the top three dots in the top right-hand corner, go into the channel description, go into the link tree link and go and watch Dominion and Pignorant, the top two links at the top. Once you've watched them, at the bottom of that link tree link, there is help to go vegan. We're live here today outside of a slaughterhouse. We're here to undo years and years and years of indoctrination and conditioning that the industry has put out to the public. Things like humane slaughter, things like the RSPCA Assured scheme, things like the Red Tractor certification. These are all marketing terms to make the consumer never critically think about the injustice that happens to the animals. We're here today to show you it in real time. We're going to show you the victims as they come past. We're going to show you the reality. This is a slaughterhouse you're looking at right now. This gate here is where animals will come past us to die. This is the last view that these animals will ever see. Just for context, it absolutely stinks here. The smell here is absolutely horrific. I can smell the blood, I can smell the intestines, I can smell the fear from the animals that came in here already this morning. Now the activists here are also live streaming to show the world what happens. They said this morning that animals have come in here, and I know that they're telling the truth because I can smell them. When you come to a slaughterhouse, you know that animals are inside there because you can smell them being executed. Look at that person there in the white hat and the overalls. Imagine waking up today, being put on a truck that is fearful enough that you're scared of anyway, being brought here to a strange location, being offloaded by someone who you actually trusted, and then you're left in a weird place, and then the next people you see have got welly boots on, hairnets and knives as you get forced forward into a kill floor. Subscribe, put one in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put two in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe and put three in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share and subscribe. We're here today to bring you the truth and the reality. Let me tell you what's going to happen. This ABP slaughterhouse, they murder cows here. Cows from the dairy industry and cows from the beef industry. They go into that layerage, which is the building that you saw a minute ago, From there, they go through onto the kill floor, into a single file line. They get put inside of a knock box, a big square box. They get walked forward, and a big metal sheet comes down behind them. They can't go forward, back, left, or right. They can't turn around. They're trapped. They get shot in the face to drop them to the floor, not for the animal's sake, because there is no such thing as humane slaughter. They get shot in the face because when you come towards a cow with a knife, they tend to want to run away. They try and evade their death, and it's dangerous for someone to come towards them with a knife in case they stab themselves by mistake. So once they've incapacitated the animal and the animal's like on the floor, they shackle their leg, they lift them up, and then they slice their throat. That animal's gonna watch the blood drain out of her neck from her and her friends and her family, all around her, all around them, as their life disappears from them. And why? Why is that happening to them? For a burger, for a steak, for cheese, for chocolate, for milk, for yogurts made of her breast milk. Absolutely horrific injustice. Don't be part of it, be vegan.
Yeah, guys, we're outside a slaughterhouse today. We don't want to be here. We're not here out of choice. We're here because the animals need us to be here. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan. Yeah, subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. Did you know that in the egg industry, male chicks are classed as a waste product? That they literally dispose of them. The way that they do that is they make them go into a macerator, which is an open blender, alive on day 1 of life. That's standard practice, by the way. If they don't go in a blender alive, they get put in a gas chamber. They get put in a gas chamber, or they get put in a black bag and suffocate to death. That's for eggs, okay? I've not even told you the rest of it. Let me tell you more in a second, but first please subscribe at the top and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, comment. Keep asking questions. We are not here to judge you, but we are here to tell you the reality and the truth for the animals, because they don't want to be inside slaughterhouses. Did you know that chickens in the egg industry have been selectively bred over years? They have been genetically modified to lay 300 eggs a year. Naturally, they should only be laying 12. That is such nutrients like a strain on their body. We have rescue chickens at home. You need to make sure you feed the eggs back to them. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. I'm at a slaughterhouse today. Like I said, I'm not here out of choice. I'm here because I have to be, because there is a huge war waged upon the animals, and the animals need protecting from our species. It's our species who has done this to the animals. It is our species who must end this.
James said you're wrong about chickens. We raise chickens for eggs. You're wrong. Where can people see the truth if they want to see the truth?
Yeah, no, I'm completely factual. So you don't understand that over years there's been selective breeding. Go to the link in the description and watch the menu. Put number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. Keep asking questions.
Divided shop thinks it's natural. What the hell is that in the back? What is that? What was that?
Well, they're tipping down. What's that?
What was that in the background? Was
Security guard, are you watching that? Have you looked into the eyes of the animals? Have you listened to their screams? You have a chance to leave. You have a chance to leave. This is an evil industry of violence. Do you know about the FSA reports here done as well? Last year there was an FSA report done which was horrific. Major and non-major non-compliances here. This year it's got even worse. It's got even worse. Not stunning animals correctly, not being able to see the CCTV because of weird blurry images. Conveniently, wherever the animals are, you can't see what's going on. I wouldn't be part of this vile industry. I wouldn't have your face attached to something like this. It's disgusting. It's evil. You are on the wrong side of history. Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, and comment. We are not here to judge you guys, by the way, on the live stream. In fact, I want to say thank you for being here on the live streams, but we are here to apply pressure to these industries. These people know better, okay? They've listened to the cries. They witnessed the animals going inside this place, okay? Number 2s are just people who don't know the industries. I used to once be a number 2. I didn't understand the industry. I wasn't vegan for 26 years of my life because I didn't know better. I was told fairy tale lies like humane, organic, free range. What was I as a child? What are you meant to do? You're not going to question. You don't question the tooth fairy. You don't question Father Christmas. But once you know the reality, you might have a bit of a tantrum, but then you change, right? Was there a question, sorry?
I was going to say, what do you call people who would love a cat and dog but would send a chicken to a slaughterhouse?
Yeah, so
people may not know this.
Yeah, so it's hypocritical, okay? So it's actually a form of racism. It's speciesism. Yeah, it's speciesism. So you know how people viewed other people of different colour or race, whatever, and then they use them as slaves and commodities? That's exactly what humans are doing to the animals. We're seeing them as they look different to us on the outside. So it's a form of racism, but it's called speciesism. You're treating them differently because of their species. Now they have everything that we have. They desire everything you desire. They bleed the same color blood as we do. They have 2 eyes, they have a mouth, they have a nose, they have a heart, they have a central nervous system and a brain. They feel pain and they can also feel happiness in the right environment as well, just like you could, okay? If you want to know if something is humane or ethical, put yourself in that position. If you want to, would you want to be forced inside a slaughterhouse, be decapitated? Absolutely not.
Wow,
No
look at this XSCMM gaming. They don't understand pain like we do. They think it's normal.
They think pain's normal. They think pain's normal because they're inside farms being absolutely abused, mutilated, having their babies kidnapped from them. They're having their reproduction system used against them. They are being abused every step of the way, and they feel everything. They feel everything. And even if they couldn't to the ability that you could, some humans are the same. Some humans literally cannot feel pain. With like certain conditions like leprosy and all things like that, but you still would protect them. They need more protecting.
You know what's really scary? People here like Connor put, how is it racist? Plants feel pain. You can't understand the analogy of racism and speciesism, but you believe plants feel pain. This is the mentality that some people are dealing with, but who are we here with to connect with today?
Yeah, so we're here to connect with those who are compassionate, not those who are delusional, thinking that plants have a central nervous system and feel pain and have a brain. We're here for people who understand that humans are animals. Animals, like we are all a species that feel pain, have a central nervous system. You literally look at them, you can tell. You don't need to be like, oh, well, science hasn't stated this. You look at a dog and you know, I know they hurt, they obey pain, okay? Please subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, double tap the live stream, like, share, comment, please subscribe.
Where can people see what happens inside these places?
Yeah, go to the link in the description. There's a documentary at the top of that description called Dominion. Go and have a look at standard practice. I'm asking you to have a look because the industries have covered this up from you. This is something that you will never see anywhere else. The industries have lied to you, they've mugged you off since birth. Nursery rhymes, oh, McDonald's had a farm, like Bar Black Sheep. You don't even know, you don't even realise that the wool industry is so exploitative and every single animal gets killed in the wool industry. Do you know that cows only produce milk for their babies? They're not dairy cows, they've been selectively bred, okay, to produce this milk for and then they have to be made pregnant, and that milk is for their baby, not for humans. We're not even baby cows. What are we doing?
Kevin Suckling put, I'm a meat eater. That will not change, but I eat ethically and respectfully.
You cannot eat somebody ethically and respectfully. Could I kill your mother or your family members and say it's okay? I will never stop eating humans, but I do it in a respectful way. You would say, no way, what are you talking about? You're probably going, oh my God, I can't believe you compared my family to animals. We are animals, okay? How dare you take the life of someone else? Now, you probably have never thought about this before, and I'm not judging you for that, but go watch Dominion, okay? If you actually do have empathy and you actually do care, I challenge you to go and watch Dominion. Just go and watch the truth. See for yourself, because before you know, you don't know. My words can only take you so far, okay? It cannot take you where what actually happens on the animals, okay? There's no words to describe how bad it is for the animals, okay? People are fooled by these words like humane, organic, free range, local, okay? There's local farms to everybody, okay? But you don't understand the standard practice of what happens. The moment we see animals as a resource for us, is the moment they are abused and exploited. Why do you think we have slaughterhouses? Because people see animals as a resource for us. This slaughterhouse kills cows from the dairy industry. Did you know that 20% of cows that get taken to a slaughterhouse are still pregnant? You're literally killing babies. When you say you're eating meat, it's because you're disconnected. You're not even saying, oh, I'm eating a 6-month-old baby pig today who was forced inside a gas chamber. They burned from the inside out. That gas chamber assured by the RSPCA lying to you, making money off the suffering of animals, because the RSPCA assured you speak called Freedom Foods, and they bought the RSPCA assured name because the RSPCA had a good reputation for animals. They were corrupted by money. Okay, did you know that? It's not your fault that you don't know it, but go to the link in the description. Watch Pignorant on Amazon Prime so you can see the corruption. It's all corrupted by money. We don't need these industries. These industries are not here for the backbone of society. They're not here because you need them. They're here pointlessly, okay? They're pointlessly here and they're murdering and killing animals on your behalf. They are mugging you off. If you're not vegan, you have been mugged off by the lies of these industries who want your money. And that's not your fault, but today we're giving you the opportunity to stop that.
Yeah, absolutely, well said. I just want to go over our disclaimers again, guys. We're outside of a slaughterhouse live to bring you the truth and the reality. We are not here to cause alarm, harassment, distress, or any form of intimidation. We're here to simply shine the light and force the transparency on an industry that relies on secrecy to survive. We're here today to also not clash with non-vegans. We're not here to point fingers and say you're a bad person if you're not vegan. We're here to converse. Put your genuine questions in the chat and we'll get round to answering your questions. The reason why we're here live is because we want to show you what happens live. We want you to connect with the animals as they come past us here today. We want you to see the environment, and we want you to see the lengths that the industries go to try and hide the truth from you. Subscribe and put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. Be open-minded to these conversations. Subscribe, put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. Double tap the live stream, like, share, subscribe. Please go into the description and click on the top link and watch Dominion.
You get this all the time. The moment you go on the screen, everyone says this kind of stuff. So divided shop, but so how did you get that big muscles without eating cows?
Yeah, thank you very much for your comment. Thank you for being in this live stream. You get big by not exploiting animals because you just track your macros and your micros, and then you make sure that all your ingredients come from a source where they didn't scream for their life in a slaughterhouse. You can use things like chronometer, where you can scan barcodes or put in what you're eating throughout the day. Use the link in the description. Go to the bottom. John the Bodybuilding Vegan and the Vegan Squad have got free e-guides on how to be vegan and what to eat. So as soon as you know your why you should be vegan, the how, like how do I get protein, how do I get calories, that always comes secondary and a lot easier. We're here today to bring you the truth. What's going on behind me? Oh wait, this guy's on the phone. Security's on the phone. Whenever security's on the phone, that's usually a sign of 1 or 2 things.
What's that?
Either a truck's turning up and they're coming, or they're holding trucks off.
I can hear movement. Oh, there's like the little runny round carts that they go in.
Yeah. Well, they could be holding trucks off.
There now.
When you come to a slaughterhouse, they try and hold trucks off because they don't want you to see the animals. We turn up, they phone the trucks, they phone the haulage companies, they ask them to go into lay-bys and stop. When the activists disappear, they then phone them and say, yeah, the activists are gone now, come in. Why? Why are they trying to hide so much from the individuals who pay for this? If you're someone who's not vegan and you pay for this system, why don't they want you to actually see the truth and the reality of what you pay for? Because when good people see the reality and the truth of what you pay for, you go vegan and then they lose money. This is a business and they've marketed it to you. From such a young age, they've told you, oh, my daughter had a farm, little Bo Peep has lost their sheep. Animal farmers care and love their animals. Then you get a little bit older, eat this for protein, eat this for calcium. You have to do this to be healthy. So now you believe in the humane lie, you then believe in the necessity of that you need it, and then as you get a little bit older, there comes the ethical, humane slaughter, the RSPCA assured scheme, the red tractor certifications, all the other lies. There's 3 layers there of indoctrination and conditioning, from believing in children's books to being told it's necessary to being told that it's humane and ethical. Every single layer is a lie from the industry to keep you indoctrinated and conditioned. It's an appeal to authority from parents and grandparents, and when you stop and critically think about it and question it, you realize there is no happy farms, there's no ethical way to farm animals. There is no necessity that you can eat anything you want from getting plant-based diets and plant-based nutrition, and there is no such thing as humane slaughter. So be vegan and avoid all of them things. You got questions?
Yeah, we got red man-bee. It kind of looked like man-baby then. You'll never stop slaughterhouses. Too many of us are carnivores.
Yeah, well, do you know what? They said you'd never stop slavery. They said women would never have rights. They'd say that there'd never be gay rights. All of these social justice movements always had the minority of people jumping up and down saying, you'll never make it happen. Just because you don't want it to happen doesn't mean that the society norm will change, because not everyone has your mindset. The majority of the world are non-vegans who actually do care. This is why free-range, organic, grass-fed and cage-free exists, because people do actually care. They just haven't connected with the individual. So any one of you that actually does consider free-range, organic, grass-fed, RSPCA assured, red tractor certified and all the marketing labels, I urge you to actually challenge your compassion and see it all the way through to actually, we don't need to exploit animals in the first place, so why don't we just be vegan and then avoid any of them processes at all. Subscribe, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan and you've already taken personal accountability for your actions. Subscribe, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're a kind person. We appreciate you spending time here with us outside the slaughterhouse. Put your questions in the chat. We're here to converse with you, not to judge you. We weren't born vegan. We were educated. We saw the other side of this gate, and now we're here to talk about the victims so you can also make the change. Subscribe and put 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan. If someone's saying let's be kind to chickens and cows and calves and pigs and sheep triggers you, put a number 3 in the chat. Double tap the live stream, because animals are coming past us today, past this gate. This is the last journey of their life. We're here today to document it, to force the transparency and show you the truth. The industry industry pay billions and billions and billions of pounds to hide that truth from you. They don't want you to see what we're here today to show you. So stay on the live stream, see it, ask questions, be open-minded. Be open-minded to the fact that you could be wrong. Because if you crack your empathy open a little bit, if you look at